This is News with the Disney Dude. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel for more content, and please hit that thumbs up if you like the video. Here now is the news for Monday, May 18th of 2026. And we actually begin with some a little bit of breaking news. Joe Schott has now been named Walt Disney World president, following Jeff Valley's departure, which I don't think anyone's really going to, be worried about that. But Joe Schott has an extensive career with the Walt Disney Company. He's had a hand in, pretty much all of the theme parks, the domestic and the overseas Disney parks. He brings with him a wealth of knowledge, and he really it seems to me now. Obviously, I don't know the guy. We're just gonna have to wait until he gets into the president chair, but it seems to me that he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, and I think he's going to lead. I think he's going to lead the Walt Disney World Resort down the correct path. I think a lot of mistakes have been made with Jeff Valley. Muppet Vision 3D, I'm looking at you. Closing the Rivers of America, which, wasn't my favorite thing, but it wouldn't have been something that I would have done. Closing Muppet Vision 3D, closing the Rivers of America, certain things, I wouldn't have done. I would have, gone down a different direction. But I think that this is going to be a new chapter in the Walt Disney World Resort history, and I really hope that it's a good one. Knock on wood. But again, Joe. But again, everything that I've heard about Joe is he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He's competent, and I truly believe that he's going to lead Walt Disney World down a better path than what it is right now. Unfortunately, Walt Disney World is it's, we are, in that weird spot. Walt Disney World, on one hand, we're the most visited destination in the world. Okay, I don't care what anybody says, Epic Universe, Universal, whatever. Okay, I don't believe that. I don't believe that for 1 second. Okay, Walt Disney World is the most visited theme park in the world. All right, so we have so many, tourists and people that come here, so you would think that, that Walt Disney World would want to spend the money to, make the best offerings, and be the top resort, and past years, it wasn't that way. It wasn't that way. Disney, it's difficult because Disneyland has to be number one. It has to be number one because it was, first of all, most importantly, it was Walt's park, so it has to be number one. It has to be. All right. But Walt Disney World has to be a close second. Okay. And in recent years, I've just felt like that Walt Disney World has been, the last horse to cross the finish line. You know, it's always been, you know, it's my favorite analogy is, you know, it's like Bing Crosby's horse being the last to cross the finish line. Kids, look that up, okay? Look that up on Wikipedia to see what that means. But you know, it just seems like, you know, Walt Disney World is always the last, you know, resort to get anything new or update things or, you know, do things that are brand new and exciting. So I truly hope and believe that now, with Joe being in charge of the Walt Disney World Resort, that things are going to get better. Things are going to get better, and we can, you know, hopefully, you know, we can hold, you know, Walt Disney World at the same level as Tokyo Disney or Disney Sea or Disneyland Paris or Disneyland Park in California. You know, hopefully Walt Disney World will be back up to that standard. You know, and I truly think that it hasn't been that way ever since Michael Eisner left the company. Okay? It hasn't been that way since Michael Eisner and Frank Wells left the company. All right. Now, Frank Wells, you know, unfortunately he passed away in 94, but Michael was with the company for, you know, years. I can't remember when it was that he left. It was in the 2000s. And then Bob Iger came in the first time. But you know, I hope that, you know, I just hope that this regime coming in can bring Walt Disney World back up to what it was when Michael Eisner was CEO. Okay. Will it? I have no idea. I don't know. You know, it's kind of hard to say because we've lost so many great things here. We've lost the Great Movie Ride. We've lost Muppet Vision 3D. We've lost the Rivers of America. We've lost so much that it's, you know, it's, I hope we can get back up to that, you know, I hope that we can get back up to, you know, back up to, you know, back up to the standard again, but I don't know. I really have no idea, but I really hope that Joe kind of leads the Walt Disney World Resort into a new era. I really hope so. So keeping my fingers crossed. You know, good luck, Joe. Good luck, because Walt Disney World needs a lot of work. Really needs a lot of work. So, you know, here's hoping. Vehicle catches fire in Epcot parking lot today from an airbag malfunction. This happened earlier today. Luckily, no one was in the car, as far as we know. We're going to have to keep watching this, but as far as we know, no one was in the car. This was crazy. I mean, this could have gone so much worse. This could have gone so much worse. So, it's, you know, thankfully, no one was in the vehicle when it caught fire, but that was, I bet that was a sight. I bet that was a sight to see in the Epcot parking lot. Muppets Magnet, featuring Kermit, Fozzie, Gonzo, Miss Piggy, and Animal arrive at Walt Disney World. The magnet costs $14.99. We found it at the Emporium at the Magic Kingdom, although it's probably going to be available at all locations during this time of recording. It's probably going to be at all locations across the Walt Disney World Resort now. I'm going to talk about this magnet. This magnet is garbage. It looks like garbage. The characters, I don't know who comes up with these magnet designs, but this magnet featuring the characters looks like garbage. It's awful. I don't know who made this design. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know, but it looks like garbage. Okay, I would not pay $15 for this magnet. It looks terrible. Okay. Thankfully, it's not on the level of the annual pass holder magnets, but just as bad. It's just as bad. It looks like crap. All right. So that's a magnet I will not be buying. Second crane arrives at Monstropolis construction site in Disney's Hollywood Studios. So, again, more construction. If you want to follow along, again, I've mentioned this the last couple times on the show, but look up Bio Reconstruct on X, because he is the only one that can fly around the Walt Disney World Resort and post pictures. So look him up on X, because every day he flies around the Walt Disney World Resort and he takes a lot of pictures. And updates us with the construction updates. So, make sure to look him up, because it'll be a great way to check in on all of the construction progress in the coming years. at least with the Magic Kingdom expansion. We're now. We know next year that we're getting the Tropical Americas. Okay, we know that's coming next year. Okay, the other stuff we really don't know. We really have no idea. I think Monsters Inc. I think that land will open in 2027, and then Cars will open in 2028, and then the Villains Land will open in 2030. But again, we have no idea. That's all speculation, except for the Tropical Americas. That we know is opening next year, but that's the only thing we know. That is the only thing that Disney has told us, is 2026 is, 2027 is when we will get the Tropical Americas. So that's the only thing we know. We don't know anything else about when Monsters will open, or Villains, or Cars. We don't. We're just guessing. Patriotic decorations arrive at the Magic Kingdom for summer holidays. So they do this every year with, upcoming 4th of July, especially this year with this being the 250th anniversary of America. So I don't know. Maybe Disney will do something a little bit more. I don't know. But at least the patriotic bunting has arrived at the Magic Kingdom for the 4th of July. So that's always a great thing to see. Always a great thing to see. I knew this was going to happen sooner or later, but all pass holder reservations have been fully booked for 2 Rock N Rollercoaster starring the Muppets preview dates. Those would be May 21st and May 22nd. I'm not going for the pass holder previews because they're using the virtual queue. And the virtual queue is garbage. It's the same reason why I'm not going to Animal Kingdom for the Bluey experience at Animal Kingdom, because they're using the virtual queue. I'm not participating in that. That is garbage. I refuse to do it. So I will be going to all of these places on May 26th. Now, obviously, I won't be doing the Bluey experience at Conservation Station, but I will be doing Muppets Rock N Rollercoaster, because that's going to open with a standby line and not virtual queue. So that'll be, that's going to be the nice thing. But if you annual pass holders have booked either dates in May, the 21st or the 22nd, great. I hope you can get into that virtual queue. But I decided not to do it because I'm not doing that. I'm not jumping through hoops and dealing with all of that rigmarole of trying to get into that stupid virtual queue. So that's why I'm not going until the 26th. Is it going to be crazy? Absolutely. But I'd much rather fight the standby line than a virtual queue line. Absolutely. I know I sound insane, but that's just, that's the way I feel. That's the way I feel. I'd much rather do a standby line than a virtual queue line, because the virtual queue is garbage. It's awful. First, now, I usually don't do stories like this on here, political stories, but the first 2026 Disney Pride merchandise has arrived at Walt Disney World. I tried to avoid these political stories because it just makes a lot of people unhappy. You can't make anybody happy. You can either report on it and make some people happy and make some people very unhappy, or you could not report on it and make some people unhappy and make another group very happy. So it's, I try not to do stories like this, this political stuff. But I will say this. I will say this, okay? And this is just my personal belief, okay? I think that that's great. I think it's wonderful. I think that, everybody should be celebrated, whether you're straight or a lesbian or gay or you're trans. I think that all people should be celebrated. I know that rubs a lot of people the wrong way, but again, that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not trying to start an argument. I'm not trying to, make things political. That's the last thing I want to do. Okay. That's the last thing I want to do. But all I will say is I would rather, have Disney or Universal for that matter, because Universal does the same thing. Okay. I'd much rather have Disney and Universal acknowledge that they exist, other than they're not real people. They don't deserve to be recognized. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to start an argument. If anybody's going to start an argument with me on this, you will be blocked. Okay, so, but it is news. I have to report on it. So I'm sorry if you don't like it, but that's the way it is. All right. All right. A Canadian man was arrested for shoulder checking a cast member in Pandora, the World of Avatar at Disney's Animal Kingdom. He tried to get in line for Flight of Passage after the park closed for the day. Of course, you know, the cast member, I don't know what time it was, but it was probably, I mean, that's irrelevant. The park closed. So, you know, the cast members are standing there, you know, blocking the entrance. And he tried to get in, and the cast member said no. And he tried to push his way through, which is outrageous. It's outrageous. Now, I could go off on a whole rant and spend, you know, 45 minutes, you know, going off on a rant. But, you know, all I will say is this. If you are going to act this way, then don't come to Walt Disney World. Do not come to this resort and ruin the day for other people. Now, I don't know if there were other people around. I don't know. But, you know, you need a better outlet. You need a better outlet if that's what you're going to do. If you're going to start fights with people over stupid stuff, then you need a better outlet. And for that matter, don't come to Walt Disney World. Don't come here and ruin people's vacations because you missed because you missed getting in line for a ride. All right? So get over it. Get over it. All right? That's all I'm going to say. Again, people can argue with me all they want. I don't care. I really couldn't care less. All right? All right. Here's something that really kind of makes me question the future of the Muppets. So Disney has teased that Statler and Waldorf from Muppet Vision 3D, the audio animatronics that were in the show, they have been moved to the exit to Rock N Rollercoaster starring the Muppets. They will be heckling guests as they exit the attraction. This really makes me sad because I would still love it if Disney would bring back Muppet Vision 3D. So, Joe, if you're listening, please, I would love it if you would bring back Muppet Vision 3D. Will it happen? I don't know. But this kind of seals the deal. This kind of seals the deal that Muppet Vision will not be returning. Now, I could be wrong. I don't know. But, I mean, it just seems to me that, you know, it's that any hopes of Muppet Vision coming back is, you know, probably dead and buried. But who knows? They could build more audio animatronics. Who knows? I have no idea. Okay. But if, you know, go watch the video because it's a really funny video. There's a really nice tribute to Muppet Vision 3D in their dialogue, which I won't bring up right now. I'll bring it up on my honest review. But there's a really nice tribute to Muppet Vision 3D in one of Statler and Waldorf's in one of their dialogue. If you've seen the video, you know what I'm talking about. All right. If you've seen the video, you know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, I'll bring that up in my honest review. But yeah, I mean, Disney may have just buried Muppet Vision 3D forever. Disney permits filed for Project Fedora at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So this is Project Fedora is a project that is connected to the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. Now, they're not doing anything to the show. They are just doing the exit. Years ago, when I was when I wasn't so old, they had a Indiana Jones truck at the exit of the show, and that sold merchandise for a couple years. They moved that, and now they are redoing the exit to the show. So that's what the project that's what the permit was about. As many of you know, Indiana Jones's hat is a fedora, so that's fittingly that's why it's called Project Fedora. But who knows if they're going to bring back like a little merchandise kiosk or not. We're just gonna say it with me, kids. The tagline of the show is, "We're just gonna have to wait and see." All right, but I don't know. No idea. So time will tell. Time will tell. I really wish that they would have I really wish that they would have reopened the Indiana Jones store right next to the show. So when you're approaching the store, so if you're, let's say, I'm going this way, the stage is facing, that is facing that way. All right. So I'm going towards the theater. Right off to the left, right next to prime time 50s primetime diner is that right next to it is an old store that used to sell Indiana Jones merchandise for years, and then of course COVID hit and it closed and it never came back. I wish that they would reopen that store, just so that they could have another merchandise location. But that was Disney's decision. I think it was a missed opportunity, but I don't know. Hopefully they have taken out one of the Anubis statues from the Great Movie Ride. So fun fact, when the Great Movie Ride closed, one of the statues from the Indiana Jones portion of that ride was moved into that store space, where it sat for years. We don't know if it's still there or not. We don't know if it was moved. We don't know if it's been demolished. We don't know if it's in the Walt Disney Archives. We have no idea. No idea. Maybe it's still there, but I don't know. But when that store reopened a couple years ago for a limited time, that statue was still there. So maybe it's still there. I don't know. But if the store is closed, then it would be nice if you would move that to a different location at Hollywood Studios. Okay, move it outside or put it somewhere where we could see it, because that was a great callback to the Great Movie Ride. So, is it still there? I don't know, but I hope it is. But nobody know. As far as I know, nobody knows at this point. And our last story is aerial photos show Mike Fink keelboat landing dock is now completely gone as Piston Peak construction progress continues in the Magic Kingdom. Again, this if you were unfamiliar with the Mike Fink keelboats, that was right next to that was right at the dock, which is now closed. Of course, Haunted Mansion lost all of its exterior, all of its extended queue. So that extended queue for Haunted Mansion now is it's really it's long. It's long, and it's it can deter people from not riding. Now, obviously, Haunted Mansion, one of the most popular rides at the Magic Kingdom. Still, I don't ever see that changing. So hopefully, when Cars Land opens, knock on wood, something will happen to the Haunted Mansion, and it'll get a new extended queue, because that extended queue right now, man, that thing goes all the way back to Frontierland. It's rough. It is real rough. If it doesn't go back to if the extended queue, if the extended standby line doesn't go back to Frontierland, then that means that you have a very minimal wait. Okay. But right now, with it being so close to the summer, it's gonna get bad. That extended queue is gonna get bad. So, this is just, something we'll have to keep our eyes open. But man, Haunted Mansion queue is really suffering for it. Really, really suffering. So, but there you are. There is your news for this Monday. If you like this video, again, please hit that like button. Really helps out this channel. It helps to get this video out to more people, as many people as possible, so they can watch the news. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Again, please subscribe to this channel. Again, that helps the algorithm of this thing as well. So please like this. Please like the video. Subscribe. So you never miss the latest news from the Walt Disney World Resort area. Until then, I will see you right back here on Wednesday for Wednesday's show. Until then, y'all keep each other safe and healthy. And remember that tomorrow is just a dream away.